Hey everybody, Tala here, and I feel like I'm at the news desk. I apologize that I've been away for a few days. I've been here. I've just been away from the camera for a few days. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I got super, super tired, and I'm sure a lot of us are going through that right now. So I deeply apologize that I broke that promise I would be here every single day, but I am going to give myself a little bit of leeway and say I'm going to be here every day that I possibly can be. While I was in this kind of energetic funk, I just felt like I had like this big, heavy, damp, warm blanket over me. It started hitting me that this is a really good time to kind of start reinventing ourselves too. Really take stock of what do you want to be doing? Not just focusing on let's get back to normal. Well, what do you want your new normal to be? Now, I know I left off in the middle of the Mexico story. I am going to get back to that. But I came across, as I was cleaning, as we probably are all doing, what I came across was a story that I wrote a while ago. And it's autobiographical, because they always say, write what you know. And this was actually just an article that I wrote for a magazine a few years back. And it seems to kind of fit right now. I just found it today, like 2 hours ago. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I have to tell these people. So for those of you that have already heard it, I apologize. And I do apologize. I'm going to have to read this. And for expediency's sake, I am going to put on my glasses so that I'm not constantly squinting and pausing, okay? So I am here to read you the story that I wrote a while back called Unsolicited Advice from a Lowly Shop Girl by Tala Durso. So these are concepts that I've put into practice. A couple of years ago, I was working in a beautiful office at a formerly great place that had just been purchased by a corporation. Actually, this is more than a couple of years ago now because I've been an energy worker for 8 years, so it's been close to a decade now. Things were pretty good, but morale was rapidly deteriorating as the corporate bigwigs were implanting their uncomfortable and ineffective ideas into a very healthy business. In short, they were ruining it. And lucky for me, I got fired. With 3 days to go to my vacation and just back from bereavement leave and a mortgage to pay as a single gal, I was a little concerned. I found myself in the very same situation where so many people are finding themselves today, unemployed. But not only unemployed, I was also frightened and uncertain and basically freaked out. My level of education either overqualified me or underqualified me. Even though my schooling did not support what I really wanted to be doing, yet going back to school seemed like an unlikely option. Selling all of my belongings and moving to a different city also did not seem viable. And my cats would hate it, and I really like the stuff I've collected too much to sell. So what was I going to do? Confusion and fear began to set in, and I just knew that fear was going to be my worst enemy. So first and foremost, I made a pact to come up with any possible way to refute fear. So these are 8 concepts I have put into practice throughout the story. And number 1, counter thoughts of fear with thoughts of gratitude. Fear is generally based in lack of something. The easiest and best way to counter it is to focus on what you do have in your life and be grateful for it. I then did what any responsible person would do, and I promptly headed to my psychic. So concept number 2, gather information from a trusted resource, i.e. a respected friend, a good psychic, your own research of what appeals to you. In the past, she had told me that I was going to buy my house when I had absolutely no way of doing that whatsoever. that I was going to meet certain people, that I was going to be in certain situations. I mean, all stuff that I could not see coming at all. And every single time she told me something, I would think, yeah, right. I'm a huge cynic, sorry. Hand to the universe, every single time she was spot on. I mean, she even told me that I would be buying a 3 family. What? I mean, that's spot on. So this time when she told me not to worry about my current employment situation and that I would soon be an energy worker, I thought again, and true to form, I thought, yeah, right. I was completely forgetting the previous 6 months that I had been studying to be a holographic sound healer and that I was going to be certified within the next couple of months. Okay, but when we're in our own heads and we're caught up in stuff, we tend to be seeing things with blinders on. So, apologies to her, really. So, this brings me to concept number 3. Stay positive and stay open. Open to opportunities from unexpected places because they will be presented to you. Immediately I asked her, can I make a living at that? And she smugly replied, well, that's up to you. Damn, I hate it when people tell me things I'm already supposed to know. Concept number 4, believe in your abilities. Chances are, if you're drawn to doing something and you resonate with it, it will resonate with you. Not 2 months later, it was our final certification class for our holographic sound healing certification. As I looked around the room to everyone paired up and working with each other, I noticed how very different they were than my randomly selected partner and me. Well, not really randomly selected. Everyone else just paired up and left us 2 to work with each other. So my partner's name was Janet, and she had an aura about her. It was one of strength and power and certainty, a very serious expression and almost unapproachable. She's one of those people that seems to have like that secret knowledge and seems to have it like all figured out. And if you get close enough, she might just share it with you. Or she might just kick your ass. Like, she's pretty formidable. In short, she was a tough read. She definitely exhibited strength. I think there may have been an intimidation factor felt by the other folks in the class. I guess I just wasn't bright enough to pick up on that. So these people must have known something just to leave us to each other, because she was the only other like Zoftig, long-haired, wild bohemian looking woman in the group. So of course I was immediately drawn to her. So here we are, the last day of this amazing 6-month training, and we're exhibiting all of what we've learned. We're paired up, positions chosen, and we are ready to go. Janet and I were talking a little bit, which delayed our start. Everyone began like vocal toning before we did. And I thought to myself, oh, darn it, I'm already a few steps behind. Okay, quiet yourself, find your center. There are all these steps you have to go through in preparation before you can begin to actually do the toning process. And you were talking through it. Okay, get it together. Don't lose focus. Like, I'm starting to really freak out and I'm having all this in my head. So while I was trying to like quiet myself and go through all these important steps and like get connected, I found it extremely difficult, as all I could focus on was the other pairs of people that were toning to one another already. I had that horrible voice in my head, aka fear, say, ugh, they're already way ahead of you. You better hurry up. Get through the steps, quick, hurry, ground, find your center, do this, da, da, da. Like, there's all these steps we have to do. Oh my God, they're already way ahead of you. Hurry up, get connected. And of course, this isn't helping me at all. So the more I try to like focus on myself and quiet my mind, the more I could only hear them toning. But it didn't seem like they were toning. It sounded like they were all like singing. I couldn't help but think to myself, like, who are they singing for? They were all aspiring to sound like so angelic and lovely and lilting their way. Very soft, high notes, and a spirit and a higher connection. And individually, they were all charming. But putting them all in the same room and with each other and hearing it all at once, I mean, these beautiful, open-hearted people just genuinely beautiful hearted people were all being so serious and trying to sound so pretty for some reason. It just made me giggle a little out loud. And then I realized that I just giggled a little out loud and I thought, oh no. So to myself, I said, all right, come on, Tala, don't laugh. That would be extremely inappropriate and simply wrong. I mean, these people paid good money, just like you. They've studied for months and are trying their best to perform this culmination of cultivated experience and spiritual expression. They're all such lovely people. Whatever you do, Tala, don't laugh. You know, when you're in church or something, or you're just in the completely wrong situation and you're not supposed to laugh. Okay, side note. I'm not sure how you would spell it, but do you know that outward snort sound? You know, the one that's made when you're trying to suppress a cough or a sneeze? Yeah, that's what came out of my mouth next. So I looked at the two faces closest to Janet and me, and they were being polite by continuing to doing their vocal toning and attempting to hide the horror on their faces. Oh, they definitely heard me.
I was mortified. Here I am, trying to make an impression on the instructor.
Be at the top of my class, and respect and honor my fellow sound healers, truly connect with spirit and the Hathers. I cannot hold it together for the life of me. I looked to Janet, expecting her to show an expression of disapproval, but it was worse. Her complexion was all red, her eyes were like filled with sparks, and her face was contorted, and I thought I had awakened a dragon, and then it came. Both of us just burst out laughing. We couldn't help it. There was no hiding it. Now, bear in mind, the next people were only like 6 feet away from us, and the more we tried to control it, the worse it got. Janet's laugh went from a giggle to a flat-out guffawing. I went from guffawing to a high-pitched squeal. I'm like, no! We laughed so hard. We were both crying. It was horrible. I could not control the fact that my tongue was sticking out of my mouth. Like, I was drooling. It was awful. And I thought to myself, this is awful. It was so disrespectful. Oh my God. These poor people, what they must think of me, what they must think of us. That just made it worse. Straight like 10 minutes, which is like an eternity, as we were laughing and we were crying. Oh my God, it got to the point that we just completely shut down the entire class, shut down everyone trying to tone. There was no point in even trying to ignore it anymore. They were so thrown off that they just stopped toning altogether and just waited for us to stop. They were so thrown off by us laughing so freaking hard that they just stopped toning altogether and they were just waiting for us to stop. You would think this would calm us down. No, this just made it even worse. This just added proverbial fuel to the hysterical fire. It was terrible. We got to the point where we just stopped caring and just went with it. At the end of it all, where we began as like these two strong, somewhat stoic women, are now just a sloppy, drooling, tear-ridden mess, embarrassed lump of two bodies flopped over each other, gasping for air. I mean, literally, we were drooling. It was terrible. It was so horrible. It was awesome. God, it was so freaking funny. Literally, once we like wiped off our wet faces, had to like blow our noses, compose ourselves as best we could. It was time to like face everyone. And it was still mortifying, which was still making it really funny to me. And to Janet. At this point, we both just figured we just blew it. You know, that game over, we're out. We're probably going to get thrown out of the class. We could see in the other people's eyes that we're like waiting for a cue from the instructor, Randine, on how to react. Like, how should they react to us? One thing seemed to be like a general consensus is that Janet and I were now thought of as like the bad girls of holographic sound healing. Janet and I actually thanked each other, and a huge weight had evaporated, and all the fear and concern and worry about everything in the world was just like lifted and transmuted in that moment. So bring it on. We feared nothing at that point. We felt amazing. We were glowing. And Randine came over, the instructor. She came over to us and announced to the class, now that's what I call sound healing. It was the best. It was the absolute best. In that one statement, everyone was given permission to laugh with us, and we all did. We all laughed together, but Janet and I did not get off that easy. So Randine put us on the spot to actually tone in front of everyone instead of like under the cover of everyone toning at once. No, now we had to tone in front of everyone. What came out was more powerful than anyone in that room expected, especially us. So this brings me to concept number 5. Don't edit your joyful self. Be in the moment of joy and do what brings you joy, because there is tremendous power in it. So after we surprised ourselves, Janet turned to me and said, "We're going to work together." Within 2 weeks, Sacred Alignment was conceived. Within a month, we were performing individual healing sessions, and within 2 months, we were conducting group sound healing meditations, and we had been steadily booked at our convenience out of several locations for years. So concept number 6, set your intentions when you are in a positive state of mind. Everyone says set your intentions, but you know what? It's the energy behind it that is so very important. I'm not saying that changing our ways of thinking are always easy, and yes, we can all have low energy days. As I said, I just had several of them. And we have needs for release as well. And times when we want to run and hide under the covers. So do not beat yourself up if you're subject to especially low energy and you need to cry on someone's shoulder or go into your cave for a few days. It is important to honor that time as well. But remember that you are actually in control of that. So I said, okay, I'm giving myself until Tuesday. Then I'm going to pick myself up by my energetic bootstraps, because I was just depleted. And I'm talking about like just these past few days. You're in control of when you can get back into that swing of things. Okay? So concept number 7, be energetically responsible. You want to honor your needs, but put effort into caring for yourself and not sucking your friends and family dry of their energetic resources, because they may not be there the next time you need them. You need to learn how to self-soothe. It's very important. So being energetically responsible, self-soothing. And the last and final concept is concept number 8. Concept number 8. Do not beat yourself up for not being perfect. First of all, no one is perfect. But the way to think of yourself as an artist. And everything you do is art. Just not everyone will always get the concept yet. Okay, this is Tala. Bye for now.